Unit 3 China Study Guide review video for you, coming from room 320 at McHenry High School. First off, talking about authoritarian versus democratic regimes. We looked at a democratic regime with the UK and illiberal democracy with Russia. Now we're more of an authoritarian type regime with the Communist Party in China. So there's some characteristics there, whether it's an illiberal democracy in Russia, but in China it's a Communist Party, one-party system. And in that, again, you have to realize that there probably are no elections. They don't follow a rule of law. They might have a constitution, but they don't follow a lot of those laws and rules that are set in place. Looking at China, the hukou system, that's the system where they put in place for their housing, schooling, social welfare, where you're born. A lot of those migrant workers lose those things when they go elsewhere for work. That can create a cleavage in their society. For the leadership of the Communist Party, you have the General Secretary as the leader of the party. Then you have the Standing Committee and the Politburo, and then below them the Central Committee. Gongxi is their nomenklatura system like Russia. It's that patron-client system. Again, the patron has these clients working for them, moving up the ladder. And the princeling faction is also a way that you could be connected in China if you had ties to the revolutionary or to the revolution of Mao, and that kind of helps you with your credentials. Some similarities between Russia and China would be that they have weak legislative branches, and those strong authoritarian leaders are making most of the decisions. In China, because of that Gongxi patron-client system, there's a lot of corruption, especially at the local levels, because the economic boom opened up the market a little bit, and then those Communist Party leaders looking for favors and manipulating the system. The idea of corporatism and state corporatism, again, everything must flow through the party and the government. There's no really outside organizations or interest groups. They control and sanction all those groups. The government structure of China, again, the president is appointed. There's really no term limit. There's a tradition of preparing a replacement, and usually around 10 years. However, this is kind of going to be extended by the current president in China. Usually, because there's not an election, the general secretary of the Communist Party becomes the president. That's what happens. There are three branches, again, in the government structure of China: executive branch, legislative, and judicial, but they're all controlled by the party. You know what that party looks like? Again, the party rules the government. If you're a member of the party, you have a better chance at success. The rule of law in China under Mao and today, so under Mao is basically his way or the highway, and the rule of man. Today there are some more laws on the books, and they're a little more important, but not always widely honored or always practiced. Judiciary branch in the PRC, the People's Republic of China, no really judicial review, does not really follow the rule of law. It's controlled by the party again. It's very harsh. A lot of executions in China. Hong Kong, Taiwan, Tibet, those are three areas within China that are controlled by the Chinese government, recognized as part of China. However, these territories want to be independent and separate. This creates a big divide and cleavage within China. Two economic liberalization policies in China. So private business ownership, farm ownership, things like that. When they're trying to open up the economy, there's no more iron rice bowl. The idea of everything's kind of provided for you, jobs, healthcare, everything from the government. They also create special economic zones to open up the market, to give these special areas within China so that industry and businesses from outside the country can operate. So globalization, U.S. firms, they now do business in China. So that's how that globalization piece is connected. Why is economic liberalization a challenge? Okay, so you open up things. Capitalism, which is the opposite of communism, right? That communist thought, it's more of a Western idea, exposes them to Western trade and Western concepts and leaders and ideas and businesses. Again, maybe workers want more rights. Economic liberalization could lead to political liberalization, so more rights for the people and more political ideas rather than just the Communist Party. For legitimacy, looking at sources, we talked about Maoism, Confucianism, the actual political party of the Communist Party, talking about that mandate of heaven in the past. And the Constitution is there, but is the least important concept when it comes to legitimacy. Deng Xiaoping theory for modernizations. Again, he had this little phrase, cat black or white, as long as it catches mice. It doesn't matter if it's black or white, as long as it does its job. Again, you're looking at these four modernizations, talking about industry, agriculture, science, military. Those are the four areas that they should focus on. Was open then to capitalism in a free market, but wanted to have a plan, kind of like socialist planning, but was not opening up political freedoms and individual freedoms or a democratic system. The patron-client system, again, that informal network, competition between factions of people for power. In China, you have a big urban versus rural cleavage. The incomes are very different there, and power resides with the money, but also people in the rural areas are taken advantage of. Judiciary in China, again, no independent judicial review, lots of executions and death penalties. The party kind of pays and controls those judges that are working. Positives and negatives to China privatizing. Positives here, efficiency, new products, more competition, stabilize the market, but it does create some inequality, and that oligarch system, so patron-client system, those people in power, there's just a few of them, they have all the power because of these private industries. And then who controls the most power in the Communist Party? Again, that is the General Secretary. Again, the General Secretary becomes the President of China.